Hello everyone, my name is Greg, and today I'll be reviewing Revy from Black Lagoon. This is the 1/6 scale by New Line. It's the DX version, and right now, it's your figure break. This is Revy from New Line. She's a 1/6 scale, so she's actually a pretty big figure, mostly to the fact of her base. And this is the DX version, and we'll get to what that means in a few minutes. But the thing that I want to iterate is the first point out is the box. The box, it's solid. It's just a solid box. There's no windows, no nothing, or anything like that. And the reason being is that this figure was completely encased in styrofoam. Now the reason why for that, and a good reason why for that, is that the figure is made out of polystone. It's not PVC like your other, typical figures are. It's made out of polystone. There is, I think this is the seal anyways. The seal is right here in the corner. Right there. That little thing right there. I think that's the New Line seal. New Line doesn't usually, I don't think, has a seal usually on their figures. At least that's what I noticed on the original. And we'll get to the reason why I said that just now. Considering that it's made out of polystone and that it is a really hard medium to paint on. So there's a few, if you really look, there's a few flaws in terms of the paint. Like for example, at least on mine anyways, if you look really closely, you can, in some parts you can kind of see through her tattoo on the side, like right in here, you can see it on there. Now, what's really nice about the figure is that there's some things on this where you sit there and go, what, that's like a weird blemish, or like, why is that? Like, it doesn't look a really good paint job, especially on the missile. And actually, some of that is on purpose because the torpedo boat that Revy rode on for most of the anime, and the Lagoon Company was mostly on, which is the group of people that she was with, it wasn't exactly a brand new torpedo boat, so there is going to be some like wear and tear and look on like some of the parts of the ship and whatnot. Now, why they did it mostly to the torpedo and not to like the wood on the base, I'm not entirely sure why either. I kind of wish they did do that. It's kind of like one of like this kind of things. So you have this kind of like worn thing, and then you have almost like brand new flooring. It's kind of weird. Assembly was easy. The only thing that you had to put together was the rocket launcher, pretty much. The tip, you just put it on, that's all it is. And then there's a little clip, there's a tiny little clip that is right there. It's a little tiny clip, I'll put some close-up pictures. And that's the only thing. In terms of actually Revy herself, amazing. The boot detail, the skin looks a lot better too. Everything looks way improved. And how I know this is that I may or may not have the original. Ta-da! And here she is. So, as I thought, no seal on the outside of this whatsoever. Again, another solid box. Also, significantly smaller, just to give you size comparison. So yeah. Much bigger box. Let's pair together. Okay, so here they are, both side by side. The base, you have this silo, and that's what makes it the DX version, is that it has a bigger base and it has the rocket launcher, so it's kind of like the extra things on it. The other thing is there's many color changes and also improvements of assembly between the two. For example, on the older one, her shoelaces, they're actually like these little like metal things that you have to like put in holes, and they constantly fall out. It's such a pain. On this one, they're actually attached, and they're little wires that you can bend and whatnot. I would be really careful about pulling on them too hard, because you might just pull it off. So that's the only thing I have to be concerned of, but it's better than them constantly falling out. The immediate thing that you see is the Skintone Difference. This one, it looks like she's like a ghost. It's like literally white. Like they took almost like primer, like white, and paint, and that's what they used for her skin. On the new one, It looks alive. She doesn't look like she's a ghost or anything like that. It's a huge improvement. The other thing that really changed is her pants. The one on the older one is a much brighter blue, like almost like Crayola color blue. It doesn't have any shading or anything like that. So you can also really see like the years difference of like figure making technology like going on between the two figures, which is kind of cool, which is why I'm kind of glad I got both of them, because it's kind of a cool piece when, especially when they're like together. The tattoo on the older one, it's blue. On the new one, it's black. Which, if I'm right, the black is actually the original color. I think the blue came from the original manga's artist rendition of her tattoo color, which I think was blue. Her ponytail, if you look on this one, ponytail's constantly staying up, and the reason being is because the hair piece is a square peg. On the older one, falls down every single time because it's a circular peg, and it easily comes out too. So that even sometimes like randomly falls out and whatnot too. So again, the bigger difference is color improvements and assembly improvements. The other thing that I want to mention is the face. Face has a huge improvement. At least on the older one, she looks kind of like cross-eyed, and it looks kind of like her eyes were off and whatnot. And that's one thing that I noticed when the first one came out, is that they had a lot of that. On the new one, face is flawless. Face looks absolutely amazing. And who the heck texted me? On the boots, these little rings where the laces go through, they're not colored in gold or whatever. In the new one, completely painted. The boots have so much more detail. The shadowing, the shading, it's so much better on the newer ones. Price tag of the difference between the two is like 2,000 yen difference, which is okay because you're basically also buying more stuff too. But yeah, other than that, great figure, really good improvement, really like it. Only flaw of it is polystone. It's heavy. You really have to put it onto like a really sturdy shelf. You can't just, put it in your detailed glass shelf. I would be really wary to... Yeah, and also just assembly improvements. The fact that her hair actually looks like it's flowing in the air and not just falling down on the older one is a huge improvement. It was really annoying how this thing couldn't stand up whatsoever. And then also the lace is falling out too. They definitely did a really good job of making sure that they took this figure and really improved it. Rated... I would say... an 8.5. The only reason being is because a lot of quality control issues going on with the paint. The only real thing that struck out again is that there's like some bleeding spots, like there's one like right behind her ear. You can't see it. And then of course the tattoo almost could use like another second of paint on it because they didn't finish the paint job on it. So, but other than that, really good figure. Would recommend. Absolutely. So, well, everyone, that was my review / comparison of the Revy New Line 1/6 scale DX version, the improvement of the old.